Granger back in 1891. The Granger family held it for over 3 generations. That was over 100 years they owned the property and the mine. This level here is level number 2 of the mine. That is called portal number 2 because it's an added entrance onto the existing tunnel. The original entrance was there. We added it on over there to make it more secure, to be able to give tours. So, between 1891 and 1947, this mine produced $64 million worth of silver out of this mine. It was one of the largest silver producers in the United States. This right here being number 2, that must be number 1 up there where all that timber is. That was a 3-story boarding house along with a head frame, a smith shop, and a boss's cabin. All the miners lived up there and worked here. The head frame was a shaft that went down the mountain, and it connected the tunnels with this shaft. Whenever they brought the silver out of the mountain, they brought them up in buckets that are right there in front of that cabin. You see that bucket? That's how they brought the silver up at that time. There were switchbacks that run back and forth down the mountain all the way down to the valley down there. They used to load the ore. They'd load the silver, and they had an ore sorting house, and then they sorted it out, and they loaded the wagon right there. If that wagon was overloaded, guess what happened? Wagon, the horses, and mules right over the mountain. Needless to say, there was a shortage of horses and mules. So, whenever they took the ore down the valley, they took it to Creede, and at Creede they actually loaded it on a train. The train took it to El Paso, Texas, where they refined the silver. Okay, so from 1947 to 1998, this was all dormant up here. There was no activity, nobody living, no nothing. So the top of the mountain up there looked like this right here. It was all grown up. But you had over 50 years of nobody being here. And all these buildings you see right here, they had all fallen down and looked like what you see up there on the mountain. Okay? So, in 1998, Nancy Granger was the last Granger to own the property. She put it up for sale, contacted Jack, which is the owner now, and contracted Jack to come out and take pictures of the property and the mine. At that time, Jack tried to get up here. He couldn't get up here. He actually had to park down the valley down there and hike up here because it's all grown up. There was no road here. Jack come up here, got his pictures, went back to Creede, and called Nancy out in California and said, Nancy, I'm off the property. Nancy says, what'd you think about it, Jack? He said, I loved it. Would you like to buy it? Jack said, no, I couldn't afford it. She says, well, Jack, what would you do with it if you could afford it? And Jack said, well, I'd open this mine up, I'd make it more secure, I'd clean it up, and I'd give tours in there. And also rebuild all the cabins and display the metal artifacts that we found on the mountain. Open it up to the public and preserve our history. Nancy said, Jack, that sounds like a really good idea. She says, won't you call me back tomorrow? So Jack called her back the next day, and the first words out of Nancy's mouth was, Jack, we're going to sell you the mine. And Jack says, Nancy, I done told you I couldn't afford it. She says, well, you can afford it, Jack. And Jack says, Nancy, I've talked to you on the phone 3 times. First time, I don't know you, you don't know me, you don't know my finances, and I still can't afford it. Nancy says, Jack, you'll be able to afford it, so what we're going to do is sell it to you for the tax assessed value. Well, what does that mean, Jack says? And we're also going to include 10 acres of land, 13 levels of the mine, which I said that was 1. This is 2. You have 11 more below you, and 35 to 40 miles of tunnel in this mountain, along with the mineral rights. Jack says, yes. And she says, $2,900. What are y'all crazy? That don't even make good sense. And sorry, be nice. And they done got me all messed up.
$2,900, Bobby.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. And she said the other guy offered me $150,000 to come in here and bulldoze it, build a big house, and have $1 million view. She says that was not the right answer. We want you to have it, Jack, because you're going to open it to the public and preserve our history. So Jack lived his first cabin here for 2 years, where he rebuilt it. We worked on building a road up here, and started working on his home, which is all the way down to the very end. Right there at that white door. That white door has the license plates on it and a picture of Jack's legal and illegal outlaws. When y'all walk around the tables, walk over there and look at it. Look at the picture, read the names on there. These are men of history. They could only get together in this area and at that time without shooting each other. You walk on by, you can walk back there into the museum. On around the corner there. We can let you go prospecting in our tailings, provided you sign our waiver. We give you a bucket, a squirt bottle, and a hammer. We tell you how to break the rock. We tell you what you're looking for. And whenever you bring it back up, we will classify it and charge you $2 a pound for whatever you decide to keep. Like I said, the last cabin is Jack's cabin, and it is off limits. Across from Jack's cabin is an observation deck with the red, white, and blue flags on it. You can walk out on there and take pictures up and down the canyon or eat your lunch out there. This cabin right here, that is called a container cabin. Why is that called a container cabin? You know what a shipping container is? That's what that is. You're welcome to walk inside and look inside there. This right here is called an ore sort house. In that ore sort house is a jewelry store. All the jewelry was made by Jack. Now, the jewelry that was made come out of this mine. That's your gems, your stones. Amethyst, your sow-belly agate, your turquoise, your silver, and your jasper. So you know where it came from, you know who made it. For the tours, we're offering 2 tours right now. You got a 15-minute tour, underground, and the charge for it is $10. When you're walking, it's walking like you're walking right here. You're going to see a tunnel take off, and you're also going to walk on down, and you're going to see where we found the amethyst veins in the tunnel. You're also going to walk on down. We're going to show you different ore sample places that we've found. And then you continue on down, you're going to end up at a clay deposit. This is the end of the tunnel that collapsed. All that is one great big clay dome. You'll be able to see that. That is 15 minutes underground, and charge for it is $10. The long tour is tour number 1. It's walking like you're walking right here, and when you're walking under there, it is 58 to 62 degrees in there. As you're walking along, you'll see different tunnels that take off different directions. The reason why, these miners found a vein of silver, they chased it. So wherever it went, they went. When you're walking on down, you're also going to see the amethyst veins that we found in here. You're going to see where the miners back in the day mined the silver. We're going to show that to you. We're going to show you silver in there that's 90% pure. And you're going to see a chunk of turquoise that we found in the mound while we was digging in there. And it is on display in there. As you're going on in, you're also going to see the stoops where men stood on these big timbers that was in the cracks of the mountain where all the silver was. They stood on them, they had planks, and they had hammer and chisel, and chiseled that silver out of there. You'll see that. That is tour number 1, and it is $15 for adults. Any questions?
Did Nancy live to see what Jack did with the place?
She's never come out here.
She's still alive?
As far as we know, we have no idea.
When
Hadn't
did
heard
it
from her.
actually become and active for people to come see. How long did it take for it, for it to get
For
to the
about-
point?
Took about 15 years. And then we started letting people stay up here and opening the mine, and we were giving just short portions of tours. Now we're further in there. We got 3 tours available. We got an 1891 tour that you can take at 10:30 in the morning, and that is only for 8 people. And you're walking. As you're walking, you're going to have to do some climbing. You're going to have to do some bending because it's a short tunnel and narrow. This is an 1891 tunnel. The men that worked these tunnels back then were my size. You two are too big, they wouldn't hire you. And those miners back then made real good money. There were 70 miners that worked this mine all year long.
Now, did they use heavy equipment to start?
Not back then, they didn't have heavy
Well,
equipment.
I mean, I know that it was back in the 1890s. What kind of equipment did they start using as technology
From
progressed, I guess?
1925 on up, then the equipment got more advanced. When it first started, they had to actually hand drill. And a drill by hand is right there. They had to turn that thing and hit it with a hammer. You had 2 guys hitting it with the hammer. One to hold it and the other one to hit it. And that's how they originally started doing it. And then they started dynamiting the walls. You'll be able to see that back there also on tour. Any other questions?
Oh, very interesting.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, I hope y'all enjoy it.
Step over here to the right. Guys, please step over here.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong side.
You're the right.
Yeah, I'm at the right.
She saw the naked bodies over there. She's headed for
No, I know.
Guys,
Going to video 'em.
what you don't realize is we can't pay anybody to park cars, let alone standing here doing 24 hours, 7 nothing. So we hired those guys. They look pretty good. They don't complain. No. Well, you guys all heard the history, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, Bobby does a good job with the history. Now, guys, what we're standing in right here is a portal. A portal comes into the mountain where a shaft goes down. Now, this is called the transition zone. What that means is, guys, right out here, it's going to be 30 below zero. Right in here, it's going to be 62 degrees. That's a 90-degree difference in temperature. Guys, that makes this the most dangerous part of the mine. Now, you see this rock right here? That one right there would break your neck if it hit you in a hard hat. That one definitely would kill you, but that bolt right there fell. Now, if you guys have ever been to Home Depot and you buy one of these little doohickeys, when you pound it into concrete, all that's going to hold is that much at the bottom. Well, that's what that bolt did. Now, what we have today, this is called the split set bolt. Now, if you guys, this thing is made of high tension spring steel that's tapered on the ends. That way, when you drill that hole and you put that plate on it and you drive it in there, it collapses just a little bit. But then it springs back against the rock. Now the entire 5 feet is holding the rock, not just a little bit. Guys, safety is our main concern here at the Last Chance Mine because we are the safest mine to ever exist. Now, guys, there has never been a fatality on this mine site in the history of it. Now, think about that. From 1891 to 1947, there were 75 men that worked around the clock in here and nobody ever died.
Except for the wagons that fell off the side of the
But
mountain.
that's not on this mine site. That would be crazy, huh? They said they could hear them hollering at the horses all day long, slowing them down going that trail. That would be awesome to see that. Yeah. Now, being the safest mine ever, it's amazing. Think about that. From 1891 to 1947, there were 75 of the men. They worked in here around the clock and nobody ever died. And that's only because Ralph Granger made sure that. He said there will be no there will be no widows coming off this mountain. And he meant it. Not only that, guys, But this mountain is alive and it loves us and it wants us in here. You guys might get tired of hearing me say that, but it's so true, guys. This mountain loves us and it wants us in here. Guys, Jack had somebody who wanted to come in the mine. He said, well, go sign up like everybody else. He said, no, sir. He said, I just want to come in. He said, okay, you can come to the gate. Well, he comes to the gate and he's standing there and he goes, wow, Jack, don't you think that's a little overkill? And Jack says, what, overkill for safety? Guys, you can never have too much safety. But that guy was a federal mine inspector. And he was so excited, he turned around and goes, hey, I guess we're going on a mining tour. Loved what he seen. Now, guys, we have to have a 20-foot barrier with the square set timbers. You have a vertical, horizontal. This would have been a vertical over here, and we know that because of those 2 bolts. But it was too long of a span for Jack, so he puts all this cribbing in. Now, the lacings on top are also twice the size of what they're supposed to be, and they serve the same purpose as the netting to keep the rocks off our heads. Guys, we have to replace these every 7 years because of that mold right there. Let's go in. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, some of the terms the miner would use, they did the strongest part of the body is the back and the rib. And this is called the back, this is the left rib, and this is the right rib. Now another term they would use, and that is bacon strip. Can you, everybody say bacon strip?
Bacon strip.
What does those look like?
Bacon strips.
Bacon strips. Now, guys, they serve the same purpose as the netting. They keep the rocks off our heads. Now, guys, these are the more modern bacon strips. They're galvanized, so they just don't rust. Check this out. Ready? Bam.
Oh, wow.
Now, guys, we have been approved for 4 new tours, and this is one of them. And this is called our short tour. Now, if you guys only have 15 minutes and you want to come in the mine, we'll take you down this one. You're going to see things down there you won't see anywhere else in the mine. Or if you have a hard time turning this corner without seeing that light behind you, we'll take you down this one. Now guys, check this out. Boom. Wow. Boom. Boom. I love that. Come on in. Come stand over here on the left rib for me. You stand right over here, guys. Come right over here. Guys, this is the most exciting part about my job. It's telling you where we're standing. And where we're standing, this is the north rim of the world's largest volcano. This is called the Creede Logarithm volcano. Now, can you guys imagine what was going on in here 20 million years ago? I bet it was really hot. Guys, when you leave and top the hill, when you come to the other side, you'll pass this big brown house with a shop on the bottom. And that's when it opens up, guys, and there's a nice safe place to get off. But look at the rim to the west. That's the one with the snow on it. Now, when you guys go looking south, the mountain in front of you is not the rim. The rim is 27 miles that way, and it's the one with the snow on it. Now, guys, when you come from Wagon Wheel Gap or Cottonwood Cove, that is the rim on that end. Now, as you guys were coming this way, do you remember seeing the mountains that just come straight down? It's called the Tuff. And what that is, that's when the inside of the volcano cooled and it dropped in, creating a tuff. Now, guys, when you're standing down there and you look to the north, knowing that right now you guys are standing in that north rim of that world's largest volcano. Pretty cool, huh? Now, guys, one of the signs a miner would use coming in the mountain, and this is called a vein. Now, this stuff is coming from the depths of the earth, and it pushes through here, and look what it created. Okay? That's created a clay dome. Now, there's hematite oxide, there's iron oxide, and then there's clay right there. See that A? That is called silver flake, and what that is just a real light layer of silver. But it also is silver, so that's a great sign. Now, all these veins are going into the mountain in that direction, opposed to coming up out of the mountain like that. They would have never minded. Come on out. Guys, look at this. This This right here is called an ore body. Now, 20 million years ago when that volcano erupted, it created a void right in here, an air pocket. Now that right there is called rhyolite, and this is rhyolite. Now the next uplift got all this material and dropped it in here. Now this stuff coming in here with such high heat and high pressure, and when it comes in here, it's smelting hot. It's molting hot. How about it's just really, really hot? Okay? And as it starts cooling, guys, the heaviest metals would fall to the bottom. So like gold would be right here. And let me tell you a little something about gold. Guys, there was enough gold that came out of this mine that it paid for the entire mine. So the $64 million worth of silver that was harvested was all bonus. That's why the Granger family was so wealthy. Now, if the gold was right here, what would be the next heaviest metal?
Lead.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yep, you're right. Okay, then the next heaviest metal. How about
So,
silver? Thank you, guys. Come up here. Come up here. Come closer. Come up here. You see that black stuff on this? That right there is called silver tarnish. Now, if you've ever messed with silver, you know what tarnish is black, right? That's what that stuff is. So we know there was a piece of silver on there. So if it was light, like imagine taking a piece of aluminum foil and stick that on there. And if it was light like aluminum foil, you could just take your finger and you roll it off and you shove that piece in your lunchbox. Wow. But we know this piece is bigger because of that mark right there, and what that's from is a man with a hammer and a chisel, and he had to hit this thing hard enough to pry it off. So we know that piece was at least a 1/4 inch of pure 90% silver. Okay? Now that was a great find for the miners. Now there's hematite oxide, there's iron oxide, and then there's black stuff is manganese. And this is all clay. And clay is nothing but volcanic ash. That's all that is. But look at this. Ooh. What's that?
amethyst.
Thank you! Thank you! That is amethyst. She knew that. Now, guys, have I ever told you how much this mountain loves us yet? Because it's so true. Guys, because two years ago, all that material fell off there, revealing that chunk of amethyst.
Oh, wow.
If the miners would have seen that, there'd be a big hole right here going that way. Thank God they didn't, because now we get to see it. Now, guys, when Jack first seen it, it looked just like this right here. But if you step back, you're going, wow, now all the material fell off. Now there's a rock hanging out of that ore body. Okay? And he walks up to it and smacked it with a hammer, revealing the amethyst. Now, guys, do you know what they would? We probed that piece. We took a rod and we went up around it, and that thing goes up and out. So we know that piece is at least 150 pounds. That thing could be tons, and it could go all the way to the surface. Now, guys, do you know what they would have done with that piece back in the day? Right over the edge. And that's what you guys will be finding on our telling spot when you go digging over there, because it had no value to it. Okay? But you guys know how much this mountain loves me? Because 3 weeks ago it showed me this piece. And that is what the miners were looking for. That is amethyst with silver in it. Now, guys, do you know what they would have done with that piece? They would have put it in ore carts and they would send it all the way to El Paso, Texas, and that's where they took all their material by train car to have it smeltered. But guys, I couldn't believe when I seen that piece, because that piece when I've been doing the tours for 2 or 3 weeks by then. So when I seen it, I'm going, what in the world? But what's crazy is me and Bobby cleaned the tunnels 4 weeks ago. So the material that fell off this big rock was sitting here still, and we cleaned it all up. And so when I seen this piece, I'm going, well, okay, that was not there just my last tour. So where in the world is the material? And I could not find it. Now, the only ones that come in here are me and Jack and Bobby and you guys with us. Okay? So I knew Jack hadn't seen it. Because the fact is, if he would have seen that, he would have told me about it, because this is his mountain. But I knew he didn't see it, so I couldn't wait to get through the tour. And I came in, got out, and I followed Jack in on his tour. And when he comes up here to show everybody the amethyst and move on, I said, Jack, what do you think of that? He goes, where'd that come from?
Tell me this mountain don't love us.
Come on, guys, let's go down. Now, take note how they hang the hoses on the bar. Okay? That's how we do it in modern times. But back in 1891, they would use the wedges. And they would wedge the logs, they would wedge a piece of wire into the But guys, what I want you to pay attention to is how they wedge the wedges into the rock. Because later in the tour, I'm going to refer that back to you guys. Come on down.
Oh, that's fine. I can see. Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh,
Now guys, the Granger family, they were butchers in the town of Creede. And when they hit this spot right here, they went from being butchers to the richest people in Creede. The Amethyst Vein went from right here to right here, all the way across here, and all the way up there. Now that right there is at the end of the tunnel, guys. That's part of our new tour. Let me tell you about that one, okay? Now, remember what Bobby was telling you about the 3-level boarding house? Next to that was the shaft that goes down into the mountain, okay? Now they would bring all the material with that bucket that's out on that building up to level 1. They would drop it down or chutes to level 2. This is the level we're at. But when you go around that curve, the tunnels aren't this big. These are the main haulage tunnels, and they would use a 1-ton ore cart to drop the material in. They would push them by hand around that corner out to here and dump it into here. Now the tunnels are only this big, so you guys have to duck, you know, to get through there. But guys, it's all collapsed in there because the timbers, we're so close to the surface there, there's so much moisture in there that the timbers are just brittle and they're falling, all the rocks, so we're cleaning in there. Now, we can still do the tour, but we usually have to sign up at 10:30 in the morning, and you come back the next day and you do that tour. But sometimes if we have a small enough group, we can do it. But guys, come back and check out that tour because that's an awesome. But what I want you to do is please do not go any further than the top step there. But I do want you to look up into that stove. Go ahead.
And how long is that tour?
It's a 45-minute tour. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I found a crystal pocket the size of my thumb on the wall. Goes in there and it's like there's all these amethyst crystals that stick out of there. Now guys, a good silver mine would produce 50 to 100 ounces of silver per ton.
go ahead.
When they hit this spot right here, it was 1,500 to 2,000 ounces of silver per ton. That's quite a bit.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching is right. Now guys, in 1894 the silver market crashed. All the silver mines around us shut down except for us. Because we had so much. Guys, it wouldn't have mattered what it was. 6 cents an ounce. We were still making money. We had so much silver. But guys, I'm a miner from 1891 and I got my candle. And my buddy's sitting over here and I got one over here, one over here. And I go to sit down and I go, wow! Guys, look! I found the Amethyst Vein. Look at that. That right there is a 1/4-inch amethyst vein. And they would follow that little bitty vein anywhere it went, no matter what it took. Because it always led to the silver in the vein. Now, this guy's so excited. He's like, boss, I found the amethyst vein. And he goes, yeah, great, but we're working over here. He says, yeah, but I'm not doing nothing. Can I blast this way? And he goes, no, we're working over here. And he bothered him so much where he finally said, you know what, get out of my face and go to blasting. Now, this guy blasted 15 times at 3 feet. 1, 2, 3. I got it. I made it. I made the 3. Okay. 3 feet. Now, every 2 days. Guys, we didn't use dynamite, we used black powder. And it would take them a day to drill the wall, a second to blast it, and then a day to clean it up to get ready for the drill, the next drill. Now, 15 times through this. Look at that, that's rhyolite. It's volcanic rock. But 30 days later, guys, he was still blasting. And when he hit it, it went from that 1/4 inch right there to up there. You got to bend down and look under there, up into that. And that's that. Look at the size of that vein. It's 5-6 feet across there. Yeah. Now the cool thing about it is that thing goes all the way up and it comes over here and it ties in with this side. So that's why I didn't want you to go any further than the top step, because the fact is if you go on that other tour, you can almost see right into this side. Now, guys, one day we're gonna have, maybe we can have a tour that goes up over that. I'm thinking like a Ferris wheel. That way everybody can go.
There you go.
Now guys, Jack has somebody that's been here for 23 years with him, and this guy complains about everything, and one of his complaints is Jack worked his fingers to the bone. Now another complaint is he wants a new shovel, but Jack says you can never have a new shovel because you're never going to wear that one out. Say hi to George. Come this way. Did you see George?
Oh, poor little George.
Now George, here he had a date for the dance at Creede last weekend, and his girlfriend was coming to get him, and he said, "Scotty, I don't know if I know the dance." And I said, "Why not, George?" He said, "Because I ain't got nobody to go with." Guys, check this out. Now, they made a movie in here a couple weeks ago. It's called, they finished it up a couple weeks ago. It's called All Men Are Wicked. You guys, I gotta play my flute for them a couple times, and they're probably gonna be using my flute playing in the credits. Check this out. My buddy Bruce Becker makes these in Crestone, Colorado.
Oh, wow.
See that? Let me play a little bit.
Very good.
Isn't that awesome? I love playing my flute. And guys, this behind me is called a safe room. If something was to happen, we would meet right here. But let's go say hi to Tom. Put my gloves on. Come on this way.
Oh, first Tom.
Very good shape.
Well, he's a smoker. What do you expect? Now, ladies, this is Tom, and he's the strong, silent type. And if there were kids in here, I'd be like, kids, if you want your face, if you want to smoke, that's what your face is going to look like. So no smoking. Okay, now, guys. This behind me, they're called a blasting wall. And one of the cardinal rules in the mining business is if you drill the wall, you blasted it, no matter what. But thank God we get to see this, because it's very rare to see this wall. Now, you see the, come on. See the big hole there and the small hole? The small hole is a blasting hole, the big hole is a core hole. Now this right here is a core tube. Now, they would core into this mountain 150 feet. When they pulled that out at 100 feet, they went through a silver vein 8 inches thick. You guys know what they did with that? They cut it up into 4 pieces and they put it in their lunchbox. That's called high grading. Guys, that's legal in the mining business. Now the miners themselves, they only got $1.50 a day. The blasters got $1.75 and the muckers got 75 cents a day. So high grading was legal to a point. Now, guys, if we come into a tunnel, we never know what to expect, because if they didn't use it, they just threw all the stuff that they were going to take to the dump in there. So as we clean in here and we start seeing the wall, that's pretty impressive. But what Jack finds sticking out of this hole, and that is the machine that drilled the wall, the holes in this wall. Now, Jack had somebody, his name was Tripp, and he worked in here in 1975, and he tells him what happened here. Now, the miner's job is to never look above the brim of the hard hat when he's standing here. And if you stood behind me and you yelled in my ear as loud as you could with this machine running, I could never hear you. Okay? Now, as he's standing here, drilling, a rock this size right here falls down, and he runs back there as quick as he can. And thank God he did, because all of this came crashing in. Now, it covered the drill, covered the wall. They weren't going that way. They had to find a different way around. But thank God we get to see this wall. Now you see the 3 holes right here? They would blast those first. Now that would create a void right there. And then these ones would go off, sending that material in that void. And then the shapers would go off, shaping the back and the ribs. Now, there's 4 more in the bottom. They're called lifters, and they would lift the material out so the muckers can pick it up and put it in ore carts. Pretty cool, huh? Come on this way. Does anybody know what that big, beautiful green rock right there is?
Turquoise.
Turquoise, good job. Now, guys, that is the largest piece of turquoise we've ever found in this mine. Guys, that's a $2,000 piece of turquoise, and no, you cannot high grade it because you ain't got your lunchbox. Yeah, we've heard it all. I got a backpack, I got a purse. Somebody said their underwear one time. Going, wow. Now, guys, have I ever told you how much this mountain loves me?
Yes.
Because it's true, because this rock and these 2 other rocks were sitting right there on the ground. And that green rock was sitting right on top of them. Now, as I have everybody come in, one of the kids knocked that rock off of there. And it gave me the most perfect piece of turquoise. Now, I wore it every day for the last 2 months. But then I took it into the driller because he's going to set it in stone like this. So this is a piece of Sal Valley agate that Jack designed. But I'm getting that piece of turquoise off there. He should be bringing that to me in the next couple of days. I'm really excited about seeing it. Now, guys, these 3 pieces are called hangers. And they were hiding that piece for millions of years, and I'm going to show you where they came from in just a second. Now, when you get to right here, Jack, there was another big old pile in the way. And he could see into there, and he's like, I got to get in there. And he crawls over. Come on. Now, when he gets to right here, he could see the Amethyst Vein. Okay? But he didn't have the fancy light, and I got, we knew it. He had a crappy flashlight. You had to smack it on the head to make it work. You know, guys, it's so dark in here. When you turn the lights off, you can't see your face in front of your face. Did I say that right? Guys, when he looks down to see where he was going to take a step right here, he almost falls into a 30-foot hole. Come over here.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me about that little thing when we're done.
Okay.
But guys, that is where the Amethyst Vein ran right through there. 30 feet straight down where you guys are, all the way in here. And look, it went from 4 feet to 2 feet right here. And this is the vein. Right there, look at that. Look at the silver in it. Guys, maybe one day we'll have a tour where we can we'll clean all this up and we'll be able to go down and see where that goes. But see this right here? That is where Tom is at. Guys, look at the material. That's all clay. No wonder it fell in. Look where they came in here. That's all rhyolite. Better choice. Guys, that vein right there is 2 feet wide. Right up there, it was 10 feet wide. And that down in there is not the end of the tunnel. The tunnel goes a mile in that direction. And then it went all the way up here. Now, what do you think of those beams up there? That's where the men worked. Off of those beams. Now, how in the world did they get up there? Do you remember the wedges? Now imagine taking a 7-foot ladder and you stick it on the wall and you climb as high as you can and then you wedge a log into the rock. And then you reach down and you grab your ladder and you pull it up and you set it on top of that one and you did it again. And guys, you did not start your 8-hour, 12-hour shift for $1.50 a day until you got to the job. Talk about a commute. Now, guys, have I ever said how much this mountain loves us yet? Have I said that? Guys, that is so true because we made a deal with the mountain. And the mountain said, do not take all the vein. So we didn't. We left a piece. And there's one right there. See that? That is the Amethyst Vein. And then there's another one right down here, guys. Look right here. See it right there? That is the Amethyst Vein running across there. So we did not take it all, and it loves us that much more for it. Guys, look right here. Yeah. What is that? Ooh, turquoise. And guys, that big old chunk was hiding behind those 3 for millions of years right there. And then Jack comes in here and he's like, oh, they look like they're going to fall. And he takes a bar and he sticks it behind him, revealing that chunk of turquoise. You guys, do you know what they would have done with that piece back in the day? Right over the edge. So that's what you guys will be finding in our tailings pile. Guys, we have 7 different types of turquoise. Now I've seen brown turquoise, kind of looks like creamy peanut butter, not crunchy. Okay. I've seen white buffalo turquoise. Okay. And I've seen a dark green turquoise, and even a lime green kind of turquoise. I just seen that in the gift shop market. Showed me that one. Guys, we have 7 different kinds. And if you find any turquoise over in our tailing pile, that's a gift. We give that to you guys, so remember that. Now guys, let's see if we can find some more on there. Look, there's some right there. There's some right up there. There's some right there. There's some right there. Look at this piece. See that one? That's a dark green turquoise. Guys, come check out this vein. Look at that.
You broke it.
Have a piece.
Can't see. And what is this?
That's amethyst.
Oh, wow. Did you get one?
You got enough for both of us?
You got enough? Look at that. You see what I just did though? Just pulled all that off with my fingers.
Wow. Put it in your lunchbox.
If I can do that with my fingers, could you imagine what a pick would do to that?
Wow.
Guys, that's what all that was done with a pick and a shovel off those beams by the most amazing men. And nobody ever died in here. Tell me that ain't cool.
How far?
It goes all the way. All the way. That's all I can tell you because I can't see the top there. And I ain't walking up there. I'm not climbing up there to go find it. You know. Come on. We're going this way. Sorry. I was seeing, making sure that light was off. We're on solar here, so we gotta regulate our. Now the deadbeat behind the post over here, ladies, for your safety, we took his arms off and we stuck him behind the pole because he was getting a little too handsy. Now, back in there, guys, they filmed that movie. And it's called All Men Are Wicked. And when it comes out, we'll let you know. It's kind of low budget Western. But guys, that is called our lunchroom in there. And what I'm going to tell you about our lunchroom tour. Now, you have to register 2 days in advance. Now, you get to choose from a sandwich, a bag of chips, or something to drink. You notice how I say you have to choose? Because you can't bring a lunchbox. Okay? Now, you come 2 days later, you'll do a mining tour just like we did. We'll come in here, we'll go eat lunch in the lunchroom, we'll talk about the mine, and then we'll take you into a tunnel from 1891, come back out and go into a tunnel from 1974. Now down here, this is our number 4 tour, our Amethyst Tour, and there's an 8-foot Amethyst Vein back in there. Now Jack is going to allow you to go in there by yourself with a candle. No flashlight. But then you get a hammer, chisel, and safety glasses, and you get to knock a chunk of that vein off and take it home. Guys, the one behind me is what I already told you about the ore chutes. They brought the material down, they were running down here around the corner, dump it out here, take it out to the other side. This is where we go in, we come back out at the other side. Guys, it's an amazing tour. If you get a chance, come see it again, or come see us. Guys, in 5 years, by the end of this year, we're going to have 5 tours open up.
How did they move those big rocks and put them in a cart?
Well, they broke them up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the only way you could do it, you know, because we didn't have tractors. You know, they did between the 1970s and 80s, they did exploratory mining. That's why these tunnels are so much bigger, because they used the tractors in here and they widened these tunnels. But back in most of the tunnels in 18, now we use the skid steer to pull material out because we can clean in here with that. But this right here, we can't get the skid steer in here because the tunnels are only this big. So we have to do it with a wheelbarrow. I've been cleaning there every once in a while. I love it. And guys, Jack says we're gonna have 10 tours in 10 years. And I see more. And one of them's gonna be underground mountain biking. Guys, check this out. We own to the top of this mountain up here. So we're gonna let you mountain bike all the way down to here. You'll come do a mine tour just like we did. Then we'll have your lunch sitting for here in the lunchroom for you. Again, no lunch boxes. And then we'll talk about the mine, and then we'll let you mountain bike for a mile or two. So imagine this was here. You go on here. Go that way. Guys, safety is our main concern here at the Last Chance Mine. And imagine if this wasn't here and you missed this turn. Look, we made a flat spot. Guys, if you hit here, it's not going to hurt near as bad as if you hit over there. Safety first, guys.
Painted it orange so you can see.
Yes, well, we're going to put a bullseye on there. Right there. Now, guys, when you get done mountain biking for a mile or two underground by that gate that you guys came in, that's where the ore trails takes you 2 miles right into Creede that way. What do you guys think of that one?
Cool.
That's cool.
Guys, Jack doesn't know about that one yet. Okay, what about this one? Got a cable suspension bridge going across the section, you have a platform on top, and then you zip line down.
Hey, now you
Now you're talking.
Guys, what about a water park?
No.
We got 30 to 40 miles of tunnels we can do anything with. Now check this out. You can do a 2-hour tour or a 4-hour tour, but we'll never do a 3-hour tour because you might not make it back.
Right.
Gillian.
Okay? And if you did the 4-hour tour about halfway down, maybe we get a bar. Maybe some hot wings and some pizza. What about a 420 room on the side somewhere? You just box it in. Guys, what about minecart races? How about underground camping? Because, guys, we have, one night when I was playing, I worked in here from 9 till midnight, and when I got done, I sat up there in the safe room and I turned I only used this light. When I turned it off, I played my flute for half an hour, and when I turned it back on, the bats were flying around me. Now, guys, they're Mexican free-tail bats. They're not prejudiced, okay? They live in Carlsbad, and they come down here all summer long, and they eat the mosquitoes, and they fly 50 miles in that one night. So that was what made me think about the underground camping. I like the bats. You know, they're our friends. Now, guys, I love doing these tours. I hope you guys had a great time, guys. Please go to TripAdvisor and Yelp and share your photos and give us a good review. We are the #1 thing to do in the Creede area for a reason, and it's Scotty with a Y. Guys, like us on Facebook, and tips are greatly appreciated, guys. Come on out.
I have a question. Did
Yes.
this have the rails with the cars
They
in it?
would have. Either we took them out or we covered them, so we can get the skid steer in here.
Okay, they did,
Because the rails are still here in this tour.
yeah, I saw that one little.
Yep, well, you go around that curve and there's rails. You walk all the way into the rest of the tour on the rails. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Yeah. Where we going? Where we got?
And so you give me pottery and put all these ideas?
Yep. Come back next day and come work for us. We're gonna do that. All year, we still open one. That's pretty quiet. Guys, does anybody know what the term opaque means? What's that mean?
It's like you can see light through it.
Can't see through it.
But you can't see all the way through.
Yeah, you can't see through it, that's what it means. Now guys, this is the only piece of opaque amethyst to ever exist. See that? Yeah. The only one in known existence, only here at the Last Chance Mine. Guys, come over. Where are you from? Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Well, that's a good place to be from. That's what I feel about it. Well, we got a good American, I mean, this is big. The thing is we have very limited parking on this wall. And we, the first month, we put 15 of that, and the month of June that I started in May, I started doing the tours in June, and, I don't know, maybe it was July. I follow Jack, we 7 days off. So Jack went to Texas. So we were sitting at 50, looking at 2,500 people coming through here. I don't even know how many people we put through the last couple. We got everybody here. We got Sonny, Brando,
Yep.
and Mark, Dell, and Esther.
Yep.
Yes.
Guys, thank you so very much. Guys, a couple more things. Will you please return the hard hats back to the table? Set them nicely. If you take the flashlights back to Margaret in the gift shop, tell her thank you. And if you see Jack, you tell him what a great tour we put on, guys.
What's he look
'Cause
like?
he's the one. What's that?
What's he look like?
Was he the
Look at
one
that
working?
statue.
Was he the one working on the upstairs?
Yeah, I saw the statue, I thought,
Yep,
that's the guy.
that's the man. That's Jack. Tell him what a great tour we put on. And guys, thank you so much. And please share your photos with us.
And that was found here. Isn't that neat? Yeah, this is just made around.
Go in there. We just gotta close the door when we leave.
This is a great place to hang out.
Oh yeah.
See, we have a lot of this, the barnwood, and you see all those small stuff.
Right.
See, you can go to the one across too. Oh wait,
I think it's this
I guess
because
he
that
just
door
meant
was
that.
open the other day.
Okay, he was probably just talking about that one that we just went in.
I would open that door because that was open the other day.
You might know it. This another bunk room? No.
This is where he does some of this.
Oh wow.
Stove.
Oh, that is an old stove. There, look at that. Hey, we got a vacuum at least. Oh, those are some big stones. Okay, Jack is the owner of the mine, and he is out here working on finishing out the inside of this building here. That's him. It's Mr. Jack himself.
As you walk up, the water takes you to
This
the ground.
is the tailings pile that they will allow you to come in here and mine the tailings. And then here is from the other side that I showed you the level 1. That's level 1. And then we're down here on level 2.
We've been digging around rocks.
Yeah, they're in
Look at the view.
How much this property is worth?
Isn't this beautiful?
10 acres plus this whole mine.
oh, I'll take just a minute to the room.
What do you get for?
1998.
And my guy, when he came up here, he left out that part, the double. He didn't say it.
He has this incredible view. And the leaves are changing. We have all the yellows. And we're almost to orange. It is incredible. Wow.